can somebody not think they're mistaken but actually are mistaken? How's your day going?
Good, how are you?
Not too bad. You want another tripod?
I can just set it up right here.
Okay. Cool. What's your name?
Carter.
I'm David.
David, nice to meet
Good
you.
to meet you.
Yeah.
So you're cool if we record and stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Right on. Thanks for stopping.
Mm-hmm.
Carter.
Yes.
Carter?
Yeah.
Sweet. Awesome. All right. So, did I explain what I was doing?
Yeah,
okay?
yeah. I lead with something that I think is true.
Yeah.
Or something like that, yeah.
Something that you think is true, something that is meaningful to you. Like if you found out tomorrow was not true, it would change your behavior.
Yeah.
Something that you're fairly confident in. And what I'll have you do is actually the other guy left his on here. I'll have you write down the conclusion.
Okay.
And keep it hidden from me.
Okay.
And I'll ask you questions about what's supporting your confidence that it's true. So it's a knowledge claim, like a truth claim, something true about the world that we share.
Mm-hmm.
And form it in like a positive form, like X is true.
Yeah.
Instead of X is not true.
Yeah. Can I possibly move it closer just so I can get the audio?
Yeah, go for it. Like I said, I have another tripod if you want to use it.
I think this should be good. The audio should be fine with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to check it out on my channel later too. So yeah, if you just want to write it down, and the more concise, the better.
Okay.
And I'll just ask you questions. And the reason why I have you keep it hidden from me is so that I don't inject my bias into the questioning.
Okay.
So I can stay neutral. Another benefit of this is, like, if it's a sensitive topic that you may not want people to know where you stand on it,
Mm-hmm.
we can still explore the reasoning behind it without people knowing where you're at.
Okay.
So it's a little safer that way. So you got something written down?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. So my first question is, when somebody says something is true, how do you interpret that?
When someone says something true, how do I interpret it?
Yeah, what's your definition for true?
I think true is just something that is backed by like years of history, kind of like it's in the foundation of what has happened in the past.
Okay. So something's true if it happened in the past?
Not necessarily happened in the past, but something that has happened currently over years of like existence, and so like there's like research behind it and just a lot of like true evidence that it's happened. So if something happens over and over and over again, then
So if it's repeatable?
Yeah.
Okay. If it keeps repeating, it must be true.
Well, I wouldn't say repeatable, just something that like something just that has a lot of science back behind it. I wouldn't say repeatable.
Okay. What do you mean by evidence?
Just like research, people who know what they're doing on the topic. They do the research involved with it. They have the knowledge to get the truth behind things, and so they do the research. They set up in explicit detail what they're doing, how they're doing it, so they get to a true conclusion of what they're actually setting out to find out.
Okay, so if researchers set up tests.
Not necessarily tests, just like it could be experiments or just their own curiosity leading them to do something, but then just backing that up with layers of like them consistently doing it and consistently getting the same answer.
Okay, so if they're running these experiments and the experiments produce the same answer over and over, that's that's a good reason to think that something's true.
Yeah, sort of. I like that's one of the reasons, but I wouldn't say that's the exact reason. Like just that's one of the reasons that I think that you can get to the truth.
Okay, okay. Um, in your mind, is truth something that, like, if I say something's true, does that mean it's true for everyone?
I wouldn't say so. No, I disagree with that one. I think that different people have different viewpoints and different ideas of truth, so it's hard to like set in stone exactly what's true. Other than I think science is something that's universally true, but other than that, I think a lot of things like contemporary topics, people have varying ideas of what they believe the truth is on something.
Okay. How does what somebody believes about something affect whether it's true or not?
I think belief plays a big role in like what people believe is true, your background, like how you're raised, just different things that you surround yourself with impact your bias towards certain situations.
Okay. How you're raised impacts your bias, and that causes you to believe something. What does that have to do whether it's true or not, though?
I think truth for certain matters, obviously like scientific or like something where you can back it up with like data and other things. Other than that, I think truth kind of like lies in our own mind. It's kind of like philosophical. There's no objective truth to something. I think a lot of the time we look at subjective truths, and so it's hard to pinpoint exactly what is true on a topic.
Would you say that some truths are objective and some truths are subjective?
Yeah, I would say so, yeah.
Okay, so how do you tell the difference?
Uh, it's hard to tell the difference. I mean, because it's hard to truly know the what's going on in someone's mind, what they're thinking. There's layers of consciousness that play roles into what somebody thinks is true and what somebody doesn't think is true. So it's hard to like understand where people see their truth, like where people get the background for their truth. Some is easy to see, such as like how they're raised, what they were taught as a young kid, which plays a role on their minds because it's impressionable as you're younger. But I think that as you get older, there's other topics to it that aren't always seen clear cut.
Okay. Are you convinced we share the same planet?
No, I don't. What do you mean by that? Wait,
Earth. Do you
like,
think we share Earth?
what do you mean by share Earth? Like as a society?
Yeah, like me and you. Do you think that we share planet Earth?
Uh, I wouldn't say so. I think uh, kind of people live in their own worlds and kind of do their own things. So sharing it is kind of not something that goes on. I think each people has their own mindset of what they want to do to the nature around them, and so I wouldn't say we share it. No.
I have my own Earth and you have your own Earth?
Yeah, I would say that.
How does that work?
Sort of just like your viewpoints on how the earth should be used and how it shouldn't be used is different from everyone else's viewpoints on how it should be used or how it shouldn't be used. I think there's different even like minor details that people think should be like how our resources that were given to us on the earth should be used, and so it's hard to say we all share the same space around us. We kind of go through our own lives and we have personal like viewpoint, like we have personal motives behind what we do. Even if we do say that we want to work with other people, there are always underlying personal motives that impact how we use the space around us.
Are we using the same space around us?
uh it depends. I think that sometimes you can use the like if you're using the nature around us, yes, but like in terms of like different outlets and different places we can go to for the for like around because Earth is nature, and then there's also just all the people around it and like the different things that we can go to, such as like restaurants, other like sources of like uh what do I want to say, like other just like outlets in general. So it's like nature, yes, but in terms of like if we use the same entertainment services, no, I wouldn't say we use the same one sometimes. It just all depends on the individual.
If we were to both touch that tree right there, are we touching the same tree?
I think that's subjective. I think that uh it's all in the mind. Whether or not you believe you're touching the tree or not depends on the individual.
Hmm, interesting. Is what you wrote down true for everyone, or is it just true in your mind?
True in my mind. I wouldn't say it's true for everyone.
Okay. So you mentioned history earlier.
Hmm.
If I believe that it's true for me that something else happened in history, does that make that history change?
Uh, I wouldn't say so. I think. Wait, could you repeat the question? Sorry, I want to make sure I answer this
Yeah,
correctly.
yeah, yeah. And thanks for asking for
Yeah.
clarification. That's important. Um, let's say that in history, um, George Washington rode a white horse.
Hmm.
Let's say that that actually happened in history.
Yeah.
If I believe that he did not ride a white horse, does that change what happened in history?
No, I wouldn't say that changed what happened in history. Again, I think that history is kind of just like I think history is set in stone. I think history is objective. Obviously, there's true facts behind it that most, like again, like most people could see that he rode a white horse, but it all comes down to the individual. If the individual wants to believe that he didn't ride a white horse, then who's to stop them from saying that he didn't ride a white horse?
Okay. Um, Let me know if this gets a little personal.
Okay.
Um, what's your like? What is your background as far as like nationalities and stuff? Like,
Uh, my background is mainly like nationalities. My ancestors are from Scotland and Denmark, but that was a while back. Many generations of um
so you have a
Americans.
Scottish background.
Oh yeah.
Okay, let's say, and I'm definitely not saying this for real, but let's say it's my belief that all Scottish people should be wiped off the planet. Would you say the same thing? Like, who's to stop me from believing that?
Uh, no, I wouldn't say the same thing. Because again, I think different people have different viewpoints. So I mean, yeah, sort of. I mean, if that's your viewpoint, then you can stand by it. Yeah, I have a different viewpoint on that, so it's all just different between different people. But no, I wouldn't stop you from saying that. I mean, it's freedom of speech. You can believe and think what you want, but at the
Okay,
end of the day, it doesn't mean we have to agree with what others say and think.
what if I said all Scots are rapists? Would you be okay with me believing that?
Uh,
Would I believing that make it true?
no, you believe in that. I again, because I'm speaking from my mind point, no, I wouldn't think you believing that would make it true. But in your own mind, you may speak it into existence and think it's true in your own mind. But it doesn't mean that you saying that would impact what I think is true or not.
Would I be mistaken?
I would think so that you're mistaken from that. But in your own mind, again, you may not think that you are.
Can anybody be mistaken about anything?
Uh, no, I don't. I don't think in their own mind, no, I don't think anyone would think that they're mistaken for anything. I think a lot of people hold a lot of like selfishness and personal motives between what they think. So I think in people's own minds, they don't think that they're mistaken, even if other people believe they are.
Can somebody not think they're mistaken but actually are mistaken?
Say that they think they're not mistaken, but they are mistaken.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I would say that. I would say some people. I mean, again, like from my own viewpoint, like some people like would say like, "Oh, I'm not mistaken for believing this," and I think, "Oh, they are mistaken for believing that." But again, it's just our two minds clashing, and at the end of the day, they're gonna walk away thinking what they think, and I'm gonna walk away thinking what I think.
Okay. Um,
Do you have a time check by any chance? Sorry.
yes. Actually, my phone is being used.
Okay.
Um,
Can I just check the timer? I
yeah,
do have
go
some.
for it. Go for it. I just have a quick thought experiment, and then we can end it. You're okay on time?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Just,
okay.
just like maybe like 5 more minutes.
Would you agree that there's either an even or an odd number of Tic Tacs in here?
Yeah, I would.
Okay. Let's say we dumped them out and we counted them, and we counted them 1,000 times, and each time that we counted them, we counted 20. Would you agree that that's an even number?
Yeah, I would agree with that just because of the like I said, I think that they're like the science and like math falls under that kind of category that where there's like actual like you can do the equations that have been but then again the equations were created by somebody sometime back in history that we've all just come to agree on, and so at
Right.
the end of the day one person may think there isn't because they have their own set of ideas of how it should work. Just as a society I think that we set standards and like follow those from people in the past. But at the end of the day, if somebody truly believes that they have the idea of how math should work, then they may believe that. That's how I think a lot of things happen. Like back in science, even a lot of people thought that the sun revolved around us, and then it took someone that everyone didn't think was right to prove that it wasn't, and now we believe that and follow that. So I think it kind of just depends on what people think, and if they think they're right about it.
If somebody were to say that the sun revolves around the earth, are they mistaken?
Uh, again, I don't know because I follow again what the I believe it was Galileo that came up with the idea that we revolve around the sun, and we have said that we've proved it, and we have said that we understand it and agree with it, but at the end of the day, that if that person may seem crazy to the rest of the people, and then they may be right in the end of the day.
Is it one or the other? Is it so back to the Tic Tacs, sorry.
Mm.
We counted it 1,000 times, we came up with 20. By the way that we define odd and even, would you say that 20 is even?
By the way that I define it, yes, but
Okay. If somebody claimed that there was an odd number in here,
mhm.
would they be mistaken?
Again, it's hard to set in stone exactly what I would think that they would, but again, like at many times in history when people have made groundbreaking experiences and like discoveries, everyone thought they were mistaken, even society uh and like even the country they're in, people have gotten kicked out of countries for what they've believed in, and it turned out to be what we accept now today. So I would think they're mistaken, but they could not be mistaken at the end of the day.
If you said there was an even number and I said there was an odd number, could we both be right?
I think so, yeah. I think that in our own viewpoints, we could be right. It all comes down to the end of the day of what we choose to believe, I think.
Okay. If 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 no one can be, it sounds like you're saying nobody can be wrong about anything.
Hmm.
If that's the case, how do we solve disputes?
I think it takes something inside of somebody to change. You have to work at trying to change what people have set up as what they believe and get them to come onto your side of an argument. You may go in thinking you're 100% right, and then you internally choose to now believe what the other side has presented to you.
Well, if both people can be right at the same time, even though the conclusions are opposite, why would it matter? Why would it matter to solve a dispute?
Uh, in different situations, I think that sometimes there are smaller matters that it wouldn't it wouldn't really
We're
matter.
talking about a big
A
matter.
big matter, I think it would. I think there can't be two rights in a big matter where it's impacting people's like how they like it's impacting people's lives, their living situation. I think there would have to come to a situation where one side would end up having to prove the other side that they're wrong, and that the other side would have to not prove that they're wrong, but that they would have to change their mindset on
Do you
what
have an
the issue is.
example of something like that?
Yeah, so it goes on to like this, but like just like voting matters. I think that
Uh-huh.
people could come in with like a traditional view of like how it was back then, like where like women shouldn't be allowed to vote and certain people shouldn't be allowed. You have to raise it to 21, and then now we have it where it's 18 years old and everyone can vote. And I think that that impacts everybody's day-to-day lives because we're electing officials, and so one person could come into an argument thinking that it should just be how it used to be, 21, how the voting matters used to be, and then some person could come in how it is now. And I think one side ultimately would have to win uh, just to set a standard for a matter that deals with people's everyday lives.
Okay. Last question.
hmm
How do you decide when it matters and when it doesn't?
I think that's like a thing set by society. I think that or is kind of just internal. Like I think we have our own moral compasses, and so a lot of people, even if they're the most brutal, understand that certain acts are things that are extreme and impact everyday life, and they understand matters that aren't so important to everyday life. And so I think that through society's like total moral compass, I think that we kind of can agree on what issues that need to be resolved and what issues don't need to be resolved.
So, how do you decide? How do you decide when it matters if somebody's right and when it doesn't?
Again, I think it's just like with the moral compass, just like we know what affects people's everyday lives, what are important to people and what aren't so important.
Okay.
Mm.
Cool.
Yeah, I got it wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for hanging out. You have a really interesting view of the world.
Thank you.
It's really coming down. Do you have something in mind?
Here, take one of these puzzle pieces. The idea is if you get another conversation,
Mhm.
you get another color, and then you build out the whole set.
All right. Thank you.
All right, take care. What's that?
Oh, we were just waiting on it.
Oh yeah, cool. Yeah. You can scan that QR code and get the YouTube channel. Enjoy the evening.
Thank you too. Sorry, I would sit down for an interview. We just gotta go somewhere at 5:45.
No problem. My parking's running out anyway. Take care.